Okay, so good day, guys. I'm doing a video lecture on the topic clinical assessment, diagnosis, and treatment. I think we started already in this topic, and we actually have touched on key concepts like what clinical assessment, um, what is its place in diagnosis, and of course we will also be looking into diagnosis and treatment as soon as we reach the slide, no, uh, which would present, no, these particular concepts. So just to have a short recap, although we will not be redoing the previous discussions, just to contextualize. Okay, here in abnormal psychology, whether we like it or not, part of what we are supposed to master would be on our understanding of psychopathology, and of course, as premise for us to be acquainted of the symptoms, okay, as provided for under the DSM-5 uh, text revised. No, we will be looking into clinical assessment. These three processes actually: clinical assessment, diagnosis, and treatment, as these are considered as foundations, no, for us to understand in general the mental processes and the behavior of the individual. Now, if we are geared towards clinical practice, no, specifically we are if we see ourselves more inclined to the clinical setting, then part of what we must understand, no, are these three processes. Okay, so I think we mentioned about clinical assessment as, of course, a prelude, a premise, no, for us to do diagnosis. And in clinical assessment, we comprehensively gather information about the patient, about the client, and that in doing so, we make use of diverse methods. Okay, and in fact, the gist of, or the first thing that I will be covering on later on would be the different methods, no, for which, okay, the different methods that we use in clinical assessment. Okay, so again, as mentioned earlier, I just wanted to give the summarized, what do you call that, the summarized um, recap, no, summarize na recap, the recapitulation of what we have touched during our previous discussion, no? Okay, so they mentioned about the different um, purpose, no, or the purposes of clinical assessment. Okay, basically, we wanted to know who the client is. We wanted to know what sort of behaviors do the client manifest, no, and uh, I mean, at least a brief yet comprehensive snapshot of who the patient is, so that whatever information we could gather from the client and from the significant others, no, could be our baseline, no, in of course doing diagnosis, apart from those that we gather through the laboratory test and all other sources, credible sources of information about the client. Okay, so of course we have here in the very purpose, as mentioned earlier, we wanted to be guided in terms of our diagnosis and of course consequently of our treatment. Okay, because we cannot in any way diagnose without ample information at hand. Okay, and remember that premise to treatment would be the diagnosis because there can be no way for us to treat without, of course, having arrived at an accurate diagnosis of what the condition of the patient is. Okay, so we mentioned also about key concepts in clinical assessment. Which included reliability, validity, and standardization. And when we say reliability, it simply refers to the consistency and stability of the results, no, across time, um, across rater, okay, across observers. Validity is whether or not the assessment have measured what it intended to measure. Okay, so that if, for instance, we suspect the patient being depressed because of the symptoms or because of the observations that were disclosed, no? Then should we give a battery of tests and to include in that would be depression, we could accurately measure whether or not the patient really is um, boarding into depression. Okay, so the different types of validity, you just have to go through that, and then of course, standardization is making it sure that in doing assessment, we have subscribed unto or we always have considered the uniformity as to all processes and procedures that we have done. Okay, this is to um, minimize, if not prohibit, no, some sort of some sort of um, inaccuracy on whatever is the result, no, of the assessment. Okay, now we'll start from here. Therefore, in this video lecture, what are the different clinical methods or methods rather that we used in clinical assessment? And one or the first amongst this would be observation. And I'm sure you know why. Most probably among the method, the first to um, the first that was presented is observation, because you see anyone can simply observe. Okay, it does not take much cost for one to observe unless it is one that is in a laboratory, no? if um if the observation is within the confines of a laboratory, then you're doing most probably an applied research or an experimentation, then that entails cost. But if we, of course, talk about unstructured or naturalistic observation, then, um, well, anyone can just do this, no? Irrespective probably of the purpose. Okay, so uh, in here from the term itself, we are observing um, the behavior, we are observing the person in the natural setting. So uh, in clinical assessment, no, like later on when you will be fielded in the behavioral med, for instance, and should you conduct psychological testing, no, this is actually one of the things that you ought to do. Okay, so you observe the patient prior, during, and even after the test. Okay, so not only that you observe the person during this episodes or what, but actually you follow through a um, guide, no? So mamaya parang kasama doon ata sa method yung clinical interview at makikita ninyo yung MSE, mental health status examination, no? So, in fact, yun ay isa sa mga aid o sa mga tools para directed yung iyong observation, kung ano yung kailangan mong tingnan, anong aspeto ng tao ang ah, kailangan mong tingnan. Okay. On the other hand, structured, no, from the word itself, you are what? You are doing the observation in a more controlled, in an environment, no, where there is what? A need for standardized procedures, no? So the collection of information um, that you are expected to actually take note, no, is or would happen in a structured environment. That's why it's a structured observation. So like those that we do when we conduct experimentations in laboratories, no, there is what we call standardized procedure, no, so that when, for example, you do experimentation, you cannot go beyond what is listed on the procedure. Okay, and I think even in the clinical setting, no, like uh, when we do testing, no, there's also what we call standardization or standard procedures. Okay, and that is because, no, in a manner when we do clinical assessment, no, there would always be both structured and unstructured observation. Okay, so ayan. Now, apart from that, we also have clinical interview. Okay, so I'm sure part of your exposure later on would be clinical interview. That is, you will get to face the client or the patient. And when you are to face the patient, um, of course, you may also want to substantiate your test results later on. I mean, the information you can get from psychometrics. No, so you could actually substantiate this through clinical interview. Okay, because the psych test will lay down the data as to, for example, the IQ, the personality, no, and even the tendencies of the client, no, or of the patient. But in terms of affirming um, or or looking into some sort of concrete manifestations, no, of what the data from the test say, no, vis-a-vis to what the client or to how the client behaves or might have behaved, no, based on the disclosures of the client himself or herself and that of the direct family members or the significant others of the client. Okay? So, dito sa clinical interview, pwede siyang unstructured, pwede siyang structured. Okay? Actually, and in real practice, based on my personal experience, um, there is what we call mental status examination. So ito yung MSE. Merong parang checklist. Okay, may checklist siya. Titingnan mo lang base sa kung anong nakikita mo. Ayan, tingnan ninyo yung kung ano naka-project on screen. So, this is the brief MSE form. This is what they use in the behavioral med, no? So, this is downloadable online actually. Okay? You can look into these aspects of the patient: appearance, attitude, behavior, speech, affect, mood, thought processes, thought content, perception, orientation, memory, and judgment. So there are specific boxes with observations or characterizations of each of the um, indices, no? Okay. So what you would just do is based on what you observe, no? How is the client? Okay? So meron namang nakalagay doon na others describe in case wala doon sa choices yung nakita mo doon sa kliyente. Okay? Ma'am, okay lang ba na mag-exceed ako diyan? No? I mean, this may just be a guide, but should you wish to ask detailed questions, um, well, it's up to you, no? What I observe based on what I observe, um, may mga kasi structured or unstructured ito eh. May mga unstructured questions na yung psychometrician or yung psychologist. Okay, nakasulat, nakalista na yun. Tapos, kapag nagki-clinical interview sila, um, maliban kay MSE, meron silang mga unstructured questions. Okay, na tinatanong doon sa pasyente o doon sa kamag-anak ng pasyente. Tapos, from there, yung flow ng conversation na ang magdidictate kung meron pang sub-questions. Okay? So, halimbawa, kamusta ka naman ngayon? Alam mo ba kung nasaan ka? Alam mo ba kung ano ang ginawa mo, ginagawa mo? Alam mo ba ang rason kung bakit ka nandito? No? So, things like you wanted to, of course, check on whether the patient's um, reality, whether he or she is still in touch with reality. And you also would look into the cognition, okay, thought processes. Okay? Thought content even, may mga pagkakataon na ano-ano naman ang naiisip mo? Ano ang nararamdaman mo? Okay? So, yung mga, kung may sub-questions pa, depende yan sa flow ng conversation. And usually, yes, nagkakaroon ng mga sub-questions kasi ang purpose ng clinical interview ay para mas mapalalim yung pangunawa mo sa kliyente para yung resulta ng psych assessment ay talagang nakaangkla doon sa personal na mga experiences, mga karanasan, at personal na mga disclosures ng client. Okay? So, um, later on, I hope you will be perhaps oriented as to how this is done. Okay, if not through this subject, no, but you have your psych assessment, um, you'll have your practicum later on your clinical internship. And so this could actually pave way for you to experience these things that I am saying. Okay? And then of course, psychological tests and inventories. Ito yung pinaka-bulk ng source ng information sa clinical assessment. At depende sa kung ano ang kasama doon sa battery of tests, no? Usually, um, based on what I have noticed or what I have experienced, uh, common na binibigay yung mga projective test. Like we have yung draw a person test, we have yung SSCT SAC sentence completion test. Okay? There are all other tests that are given, but definitely this would be IQ, personality, and then projective test. Okay? So, what for our psychological test? You see in clinical assessment, we intend to evaluate the individual, the patient, in terms of practically everything about him or her. So, cognitive abilities, the personality, the emotions, the behavior, because all of these are vital inputs for diagnosis and eventually for treatment. Okay? So some of these tests, perhaps you have encountered them already. If you have your psychological assessment course, all the more that you should know them. Okay? But should you not uh, should should it be the case that you don't actually um, have any information about this test, then I'm sure when you will be getting those subjects that I've mentioned, psych assessment, um, clinical internship, I'm sure you will um, be acquainted of this test. Okay, some of these were or some of these are available in the guidance center. I'm sure you have had experienced psychological testing by our guidance counselors. So if you have taken personality test, you see it's not for the sake of signing your clearances or for the sake of it being a requirement of the university, but I hope that you also have the interest of actually knowing the result. Okay, because that is what matters in clinical assessment, no? That the result was feedback to you. Okay? So personality inventories like the MMPI, the NeoPI-R, okay? Definitely from the term itself, personality, because in clinical assessment, part of that which is to be measured is personality. And then we also have neurological tests. Okay, so baka sa isip nyo, di ba, yung concept ng neuro exam versus psychological exam. Okay? Remember, in neurological tests, from the term itself, it looks into the brain structure. Okay? So, is there something wrong with the brain structure which caused? Remember the biological perspective? Is it not that as laid down by the by the biological perspective, whatever happens into your brain, your nervous system, or even your endocrine system would always have impact on your personality or in your behavior. Okay, so that if there would be damages, no, in your brain, this could what this could have implications on um, the manner on the way you behave. Okay, so we have the PET, positron emission tomography. What is it about? It is used to study the brain's chemistry. It begins by injecting the patient with a radionuclide that collects in the brain and then having them lie on a scanning table while a ring-shaped machine is positioned over their head. So images are produced that yield information about the functioning of the brain. Okay? So, um, I don't know if I have a picture of, ayan, tingnan ninyo yung pet, no? Okay, and how it actually captures the brain of the individual. Okay? So, apart from the PET, we also have the MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, or the MRI. Okay? So here, this is through computers. Now, these are all actually technology-based um, way of assessing the structure of the brain. Okay? So, in the MRI, it provides 3D images of the brain using magnetic fields and computers, and hence it can detect what brain tumors, spinal cord tumors, or any other nervous system disorders. Okay, CT scan also. I'm sure this is not the first time you hear the word CT scan. Okay? So, it involves taking x-rays at meron silang ibibigay na parang film sa inyo. No? Yung hindi film na yung film ng photo, ano pero malakihang ano yon. Parang alam niyo yung negative film, no? Kung saan makikita mo may mga tawag dito, bilog-bilog, makikita mo kung intact o kung merong namuong dugo or naihalong naalog ang ulo o ang utak, no? So, I just was not able to get the CT scan result of my husband, no? You see, when you have injuries brought about by vehicular accidents or by any accident for that matter, part of the procedure is that you go through a CT scan, no, to rule out um, damages in the brain. Because you see, I'm sure you know how it implicates the body, the movement, and even the behavior. Ang pinaka-example lang natin dyan, balikan ninyo si Phineas Gage. Okay? So, we also have the EEG, electroencephalogram, to which it measures the brain's electrical activity, no? So, alam nyo yon, di ba merong ECG pero ang pinaglalagyan dito sa may part ng heart, ng brain, ang EEG naman sa ulo. Yung maraming mga electrodes na kinokonek. Alam niyo parang kable ng kuryente, no? Kinokonek sa skull, sa iba't ibang part ng head o ng utak. At ang at may machine na magre-read sa activity ng utak, sa brain activity. So titingnan kung merong um, sudden brain activity kahit na nakarest ang kahit na at rest, for example. Okay? So in cases of convulsion or uh, seizures, no? Kasi may 2-year-old baby, no, kapag medyo hindi, parang mahina ang tolerance niya sa fever, kapag nag-exceed ang kanyang fever, I mean, pag mataas ang fever niya, ah, nagko-convulsion siya, nagsi-seizure siya. And because you see, siguro yung recurrence ng seizure, part of what was asked, no, I think that was last year, as a procedure, is for her to go through EEG, no. Thank God na okay naman yung kanyang EEG, no. Makikita mo kasi doon kung merong abnormal brain activity. Pero syempre, ang mag-interpret lang yan ay yung neurologist. Okay? So, it's through the EEG where abnormal brain wave patterns could be identified. Ayan. So, these are some of the pictures of those procedures. So, you have the positron emission tomography, yung PET. Okay? Yan, ipapasok kayo sa ganyan. Parang, ano bang tawag niyo dyan? I'm not sure kung anong tawag niyo sa machine na yan. PET machine. And then you have the CT scan. Okay? 'Di ba? I don't know if ever you've encountered yung CT scan ng brain ng taong nag-AI o laging nag-AI, no? Magandang ano yun, parang ang gandang i-research, no? So, may part daw na medyo, ano ba tayo, lumiliit or hindi siya nagde-develop, okay? For AI users. Okay, so those are byproducts of researches. Okay? And then itong sa baba, ito yung EEG. No? Yan ang EEG. Siguro ilan sa inyo nakakita na ng taong nag-EEG or baka kayo mismo ay nag-undergo na ng ganyang procedure. Okay? And then we also have physical examination. So ang physical examination, katulad lang din ng ginagawa ng isang doktor. Kapag ikaw ay nagpakonsulta, tinitingnan kung ano ang problema. Halimbawa, masakit ang mata, meron bang problema kaya sa utak kaya masakit ang mata? Or merong problema sa locomotion, okay? Um, ah, Meron kayang kinalaman yan? Halimbawa, kapag merong yung tao ay um, have encountered accidents, no? So, tinitingnan or physically check up yung kliyente. Okay? Kaya nga, if you have visited the behavioral med, ang ginagawa dyan sa baba ay consultation. Tinitingnan mo nga physically yung pasyente. And then, if the psychiatrist, if the resident psychiatrist, for example, deemed it for the patient to go for clinical assessment, saka sila umakyat sa taas for a clinical assessment. Okay? And then we also have behavioral assessment. So what happens in behavioral assessment, no? So those tools which were earlier mentioned, like observation, interviews, okay, this can also be the very sources of data for behavioral assessment. So in behavioral assessment, we are um, in behavioral assessment, we are laying down the ABCs of behavior. So antecedents, no? What are the direct cause? What are the triggers, no, of the behavior? Okay? And syempre, you know what it meant by the behavior. What is it that you observe about the person in terms of what the person is saying, what the person is thinking, most probably, what the person or how the person feels, no? And the consequences, no, of the behavior. Okay? So, uh, in in behavioral assessment, there is what we call self-monitoring, no? Um, well, may mga instances lalong-lalo na kapag siyempre ang pasyente depende sa severity ng sitwasyon ng pasyente. Pero usually, yung monitoring na 'to, um, counter-check, no? There is also validation with that of the members of the family of the patient. Kaya kung 'pag interview yung mga 'yan, hindi lang yung pasyente ang ini-interview kundi yung mga kasama niyang nag-refer sa kanya, 'no? So, well, uh, that can actually be categorized under monitoring, okay? And of course, we have the IQ tests. I think this is also under the psychological testing kanina, no? Kasi isa sa mga characteristics na tinitingnan siyempre ay yung intellectual functioning. Now, in our context, ma'am, hindi ba issue ang reliability and validity kapag yung measure or yung test na gamit sa IQ, pang-measure ng IQ ay um, hindi cultural, ano ba yan? Culturally appropriate, no? Kasi most of our IQ tests are borrowed from the West, no? So, yes, that can actually be a potential issue, no? And that is why there had been attempts, or there are Filipino psychologists, psychometricians, or those who works in test and measurement, no? Um, who actually have what? They have um, brought out for commercialization some IQ test, no? Meron tayo nung panukat ng katalinuhang Pilipino, no? Ano yung panukat ng katalinuhang Pilipino?